Good evening and welcome to, I'm afraid to even say this, the 20th Annual PEGASYS Awards for Cable Casting Excellence by Time Warner Cable. My name is Lauren Stefanelli and I'm your host tonight. I'm also the Access Manager at PEGASYS, and I'm so happy to see so many of my friends here and fellow community producers who are all excited because some of them have entered programs in our awards competition and some of them are down here to cheer on their friends or spouses or classmates. But I'm really happy to see everybody here, and I'd like to say a couple of opening remarks before we get started and kind of explain what our little show is about for those of you who are tuning in on Channel 13 and haven't seen this before. Our PEGASYS Awards Day is our favorite day of the year because it's the day that we say thank you to all the community producers who are out there and making all the community programming that fills Channel 13. You know, one thing, and I want to mention this right at the beginning because this happens every year, and it suddenly struck me that I should say something about it. One of the things that we do as part of the award show is we play clips of every single entrant, and we're going to do that tonight. And every single awards show, after the awards, people come up to me that attended and they say, boy, I really would have liked to see more of a lot of those shows. I really got intrigued. I really got interested. Those were really good shows. Well, you know what? You can see more. Channel 13 runs these shows all the time. So for those of you who are PEGASYS producers and mainly look at your own show, but get a little bit intrigued by what you might see in the clips tonight, hey, there's a whole world of local community programming out there, and you can support that by taking a look at what's on Channel 13 and on Channel 16, our educational access channel. There's tons of stuff produced by kids, produced by adults, produced by seniors, produced by everybody in Tompkins County for a Tompkins County audience. And I hope that watching some of these clips will intrigue you and make you get more than just a little taste of what's available to you in programming choices on the channel. Another thing I'd like to say right at the outset is that this is an awards show, which means we're awarding winners in a video competition. And the only way we can have winners in a video competition is to have people enter their shows and then to have somebody judge them. So we have every year 3 independent judges, independent meaning they don't work for Time Warner Cable or PEGASYS, and they're not affiliated with any of the programs. And as completely on a volunteer basis, they view all the shows and fill in forms, multiple choice forms about how they like it, make comments and so on. And they do all of that. It's hours and hours of work. I think it was probably 7, 8 hours of work for viewing all of those tapes this year. So it's a tremendous amount of work that our judges do. And so I'd like to thank them, but before I do that, I'd like to read off their names and tell you who they are. Every year I get somebody different to do it. And anytime I try and go back and get somebody who did it a couple years ago, they said, you already made me do it. I'm not doing it again. So I always have to find a new sea to fish in to find my PEGASYS judges. And that means that every year there's a different set of eyes looking at these tapes. And each time we try and find somebody who understands that community access isn't about making programs look like NBC. It's about letting community members have a voice. So our judges this year who did a terrific job, I'd like to name them by name. And one of them's here, so I'd like him to stand when I say his name. Jim Beaujolais, who's right there. Jim, if you could stand up and let everybody take a peek at you. Jim is an access producer who was trained here and also spent 2 years getting a video production degree at Tompkins Cortland Community College, and he's also a former PEGASYS Awards winner in 1999. If you look in the lobby there where we've got our wall of fame of all our prior year PEGASYS Awards winner, you'll see his name up there. Our second judge was Joyce Cantor, and she is a producer who produced a number of shows under the series title Local History of Tompkins County. She found all the local historians of all the little towns and villages of Tompkins County, and she got them to reveal a lot of little stories that some of them, she sort of got the idea that it was really important for them to tell these stories because some of these historians are senior citizens, shall we say, okay? And they're very, 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 very senior. Like there were a couple over 90 And she was afraid those stories that they had to tell wouldn't last much longer unless she got it onto tape. So she made a wonderful series called Local History in Tompkins County. So she's our second judge. I don't think Joyce is here. And our third judge is Basil Kazamaeus, who is a PEGASYS volunteer who went through our classes and helped a number of people on their TV show. And now he's a different kind of producer on Channel 13. He's a provider, meaning that he brings down a series of tapes that are really meaningful to him and that he wants to share with the community. The series that he is the provider for is called Words of Peace. And Basil was kind of a wild card judge in that the day that we scheduled to do the judging, his wife was expecting a baby within days. So the judges all had to be prepared to drop all their viewing and while he rushed her off to the hospital to have a baby. Fortunately, by the way events went, she had the baby a couple of days before the judging happened. So we didn't really need to do that. But we were prepared to do that for you to get. They were all the judges were prepared to do that so that this competition could happen. So if you could just give me a big round of applause for all the judges that went through all that. Okay, so now let me tell you a little bit about what our program's going to be like tonight. You've all got programs in front of you that show what the competition is about. You guys at home we're going to tell you everything. You're not going to miss anything, I promise, anybody who's at home. We've got 9 categories that the programs were entered in. You may see that there were a few changes from when you entered your program because unlike some big video competitions where there are hundreds or thousands of entries, there are only 28 entries in our competition. So that's a lot smaller pool. And sometimes if there aren't enough entrants, I have to juggle categories around. So there's 1 or 2 changes from the originals. But you'll see that there are 9 pretty common categories: youth produced, performing arts, comedy variety, innovative special interest, news, magazine, public affairs, nonprofit organizations, and documentaries. So each program that's entered is competing against others in that category, but they're also competing a second time. You'll see that in the middle column there's an E or a P. An E stands for educational access, and it means these programs premiered on Channel 16, our educational access channel. And all the E programs are competing against all the other E programs, no matter what category, for best educational access program. And likewise, all the P programs, all the public access programs that premiered on Channel 13 are competing against each other for best public access program. And so there will be an award in each category, and our wonderful PEGASYS Awards trophies will be given out for each category. But in addition, there will be an award for the 2 best public access and the 2 best educational access programs, the highest scoring shows in those 2 categories. And those 4 programs will be sent by Time Warner on to a national access award called the Hometown Awards. And the Hometown Awards will be held in Monterey, California in July. And judges for the Hometown Awards will be access centers all around the country. We've been a judge for quite a number of years, and they send us one category, and we get a group of folks to judge them, and then we send them back. So the tapes in the Hometown Awards, there's usually 4,000 tapes, quite a whole lot of entries. But we actually have we've actually had some good success with the Hometown Awards before with Tompkins County entrants. In fact, we had a winner last year. And so we're hoping that with the 4 that we're going to send this year, that we'll similarly have good fortune and that you'll go on to national acclaim as well. Okay, so to do the categories, what we're going to do is we're going to play clips of each one, and then we're going to tell you who won. And if the person is here, they're going to come up and they're going to get an award. The awards, by the way, I'm just going to hold up one just to show you. The awards were made for us special by A&B Trophies, which are right down the road, and they're our local sponsor for this event, so we want to thank them very much. And let's start with our first category, which is youth-produced programs. And youth-produced programs means that people under 18 made the show. And in most cases, it might happen as a result of a class in school. And in this case, we have 2 entrants, one from the Alternative Community School and one from Ithaca High School, who, because both of them have weekly series, they're kind of sort of rivals for this particular award. So we've got an entrant from both of them. The one from Ithaca High School is called Live from IHS, and the one from the Alternative Community School is called Tales of the Ox. And we're going to take a look at a little bit of each of those shows now. If you could just watch the monitor.
Please welcome Jennifer Ridnick. She became a high school celebrity after dressing up as a nun at school. Jennifer, why did you come to school in a nun's outfit?
Well, when I first heard about the dress code, I thought right off the bat I had to do something about it. So I thought, well, I was thinking that I'd just violate the dress code and see what happens, but I thought about it, and since Halloween was coming up, I'd been to the costume shop, and I saw the nun's outfit, and I thought it'd be perfect to wear it to school, so I did.
They're not advocating any overthrow. They simply want their rights. Kurds in Syria still do not have full rights.
Since 1963, we have considered ourselves to be in a state of emergency and put laws in place to protect ourselves from that. Under these laws, we are permitted to deny citizenship and other human rights when necessary, as in the name of national security, we are protecting the nation of Syria.
We have only asked for our rights.
Someone who seems so in support of stability should tighten their borders. We have received reports that through Syria's borders, assistance was given to Iraq during the Operation Iraqi Freedom. We have reports that military supplies crossed the borders during our Operation Iraqi Freedom, including night vision goggles. Though we recognize that border security has improved since then, during the operation, volunteer fighters from other Arab countries were able to pass through Syria on their way to fight. Stability in Iraq is absolutely crucial to stability in the Middle East. And if you are not willing to recognize that and tighten your borders, we can have no peace in the Middle East.
United States, your role in the Middle
Are we back? Whoops. Well, I've never done that before. Paul, are we back? Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed that clip. The person talking at the end of that second clip, I don't know if you could read the name card in front of them. That's from something that the Alternative Community School does every year called Middle East Debate. The person who was speaking at the end was George Bush. The woman who was speaking was portraying George Bush, and I liked how she sort of stumbled over her words like he would have done in a similar speech-making situation. Anyway, the winner of the youth-produced category is Tales of the Ox by Alternative Community School and Carl Madia.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Laura.
And we've got some certificates for the people that worked on the show. Max Dubin, Nikki White, Brendan Thomas. And would
Good.
you like to explain to people a little bit about your show?
I will say a few things. First of all, I want to acknowledge Chris Sperry and the fabulous job he does every year with his Facing History class. And they do these Middle East debates every year, and it's just, they do a fantastic job. The kids are just awesome, and it's one of the highlights of the year at our school, and a great example of teaching and learning that's going on these days. So I want to acknowledge them and the job they've done. We have a long history with Pegasus. We go back almost those 20 years, I think, Lauren, the connection between ACS and Time Warner Pegasus here. And so I also want to say that we appreciate a great deal the support we've gotten over the years from Pegasus. It's a great thing. There are hundreds of students who have gone through even a small school like ACS and have gotten a tremendous amount because of the training and the equipment and the support that we've gotten from Pegasus. And that's some of those kids have gone on to film and video careers, so that's really been great. So I want to appreciate that. Our show is on every Friday night. You see things like this and at Friday night at 9 o'clock on Channel 16. So check us out and see more stuff like this. So thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
All right, moving on to our second category, performing arts. We've got 5 entrants in this category, and it's just amazing if you do watch Channel 13 how many dedicated producers are going to arts events and videotaping them and putting them on the channel to share with everybody. There are people at grassroots, there are people at local concerts, there are people inviting bands into the studio. There are people doing arts events with fine art and arts and crafts and so on. And so what you're going to see on these little clips is just the tip of the iceberg of the arts-related programming that you'll find on Channel 13. I'll just read off the candidates for the Performing Arts Award. Homemade Jams by Jordan Alexander, who does a weekly series of live performances by bands of all different genres that you can see them. You can see them on Wednesday nights at 9:30. Work in Progress by Nathan Brown, which is an ICTV production, which is on Channel 16. Beyond the Chords, also ICTV on Channel 16 by Rebecca Gephardt. What She Found There, which is a videotaping of a performance of a play by Brian Van Kampen. And Hip Hop Culture by a new producer, Will Metro. So we've got clips of all of these for you to enjoy. Let's take a look.
Hi, and welcome to Work in Progress. I'm your host, Bill Trinega. Since the dark nights are growing longer, and this is a spine-tingling time of year, we thought we'd spend an episode spotlighting 2 student films dealing with the supernatural and the sinister, and the makeup artist who brought both of them to life. This first film is brought to us from senior Alex Wysocki, entitled Where the Horizon Ends. It's a story of a police officer who is thrust into a major life crisis after he experiences a traumatizing case. Traveling to a rooftop where he plans to end his life, the officer instead finds something unexpected, a living, breathing gargoyle. Shooting from 5 p.m. to 7 a.m. on the roof of Utica City Hall proved to be a difficult challenge. The roof was completely covered in a 3-inch layer of small pebbles that not only looked terrible, but was nearly impossible to stand on. In order to combat the problem, the roof was completely resurfaced with over 1,000 square feet of tar paper. That night, the Utica police received reports of a creature as well as flashing lights and smoke emanating from City Hall. The police came to investigate, believing that a man was attempting suicide, and after an hour spent convincing the police that they had a permit, the crew was forced to have the mayor call them to explain the situation.
She took her love for to gaze a while among the fields of barley. In his arms she fell as the sun came down, and we walked in fields of gold. Will you? How do you do?
And shake hands.
The best part of waking up is boulders in your cup. Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
All the joys got nuts.
Mounds don't be cut.
Sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you, oh, I wish I were Oscar Mayer Wiener. That's what I truly like to be. 'Cause if I were an Oscar Mayer Wiener, everyone would be in love with me. What would you do for a fine life bar? More Ovaltine, please.
That's enough for one song.
How do you do will never do. Now that we dance together, we seem to have got beyond that somehow.
Very good, Alice. How do you do what?
A man on a mission. A man on a mission.
I'll bring it back, that old New York rap. Rap. I'll bring it back, that old New York rap. I'll bring it back, that old New York rap.
It's been 3 long years since I had last dropped that hardcore flavor to rock the party non-stop. I've been gone a long time, my fans better not have forgotten. To put Mikado on the map, Pop, she didn't hit me for a while, so you thought I felt. But the truth is, I've been through hell. Mikado was nice.
Okay, I hope you've enjoyed those clips. And really, I can't say enough about the people that go to events and put music on TV, and I wish that, if you're at home and you ever think that I go to a lot of music events, and I wish I could record them for all time. You know what? We have free training courses. You can come down here, make your own TV show. You can take cameras to events and cover them, or, like Will here, who is a first-time producer, that last clip, make your own music video and let your own talent shine on television. I really encourage people to take our classes. We have an orientation coming up in just 2 weeks on Friday the 25th of February at 7 o'clock at PEGASYS at 612 West Green Street. So if there's anybody that, as they watch these clips, think, hey, I could do at least that good, well, come down and prove it. Everything's free. The orientation's free, the training classes is free, use of the production facilities is free, and channel time is also free. So if you think you can do it, then we'd love to give you a try. The winner in the Performing Arts category is Work in Progress by Nathan Brown.
Yes.
Sometimes I see students send in surrogates, but in this case, the producer's actually here. Nathan Brown is here. Hooray. And I'd like to mention some of the people that you had down as working on the show, including Bill Trinega, who was the host that we saw, and Rob Edwards, and Jenna Ott, who, is Jenna Ott here?
No, she's not.
Oh, okay. And Adam Rosenberg.
He's there.
He's here?
Yep.
Come up. Anybody associated with the show, come up by all means. And I got to tell you, this is my favorite show on ICTV. I watch this all the time. I just love the behind-the-scenes stuff. And for a long time, I was always asking the people at ICTV whether we couldn't see student films and why they never got as part of ICTV. And now you're doing it and telling all the little secret stuff behind it, which I think is very wonderful. Would you like to say anything to your public?
I'd just like to, I guess...
And tell people when it's on.
It's on this semester. We've got a whole new set of stuff lined up for the rest of the year until May. It's on at Monday nights at 10:30 and Tuesday nights at 10 o'clock, I believe, or vice versa. I'm not sure. And I'd pretty much just like to thank my crew from last semester and from this semester. We've got a really good group of people working for us, and Eloise Green for giving us guidance when we need it. So thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Congratulations. Okay. Was that Penny I just saw come in? Yes. We actually have dog producers down here at PEGASYS. There are actually 2 dogs who are certified to make TV shows. So I'm sure you can do at least as good, you guys at home. So please come to our orientation in 2 weeks. And you can bring your furry friends as well. All right, so we're moving on to the third category, comedy variety. Comedy is an unbelievably hard thing to do, as I think that one of our producers here, John Weiss, who was going to improvise a comic skit, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. It takes development. It takes a lot of work to make something in just a minute or two give somebody even one laugh. It's a ton of work. And so anybody that actually does it and actually does something that's more than just a pratfall, an entire show, an entire 30-minute show, or in one case we have an even longer than 30-minute show, anybody that can actually do that and pull it off and write a script and recruit actors and bounce things off of people to see if they're funny or not and deal with the timing that it takes to do that deserves a ton of credit. The fact that we've got 5 different groups here that have put together comedy shows is just unbelievably wonderful. So I'd like to read off their names, and think about it. We producers know a little bit what goes into making somebody laugh for 30 minutes. So when you watch these clips, think about how hard these people work. The first is Troll the Inventor by the redoubtable Ritva Cederstrom, who has already produced such wonderful, crazy shows like UFO in Smithica, which were aliens coming to the mythical Ithaca called Smithica, and this is her next epic called Troll the Inventor. The next one, Endless Winter by Brian Van Kampen, which is about a guy maniacally obsessed with shoveling snow. The third is Fake Out Live by Kristen. Okay, let's see here. Pasierkowski? Okay, Pasierkowski. I was close. An ICTV production, sort of a guess who's lying and who's not kind of thing. Hollywood 101 by Kate Kennedy, also an ICTV production, and it's kind of a serial drama. Would you say? Kind of, sort of, guys. Scripted comedy in any case. And finally, The Solarium with Professor Smedley Drake by Jesse Porter, and I'm not really sure how to classify that. I just my jaw just hung open most of the time I was watching that show. I had nothing to say. So you guys tell me what you think, okay? We're gonna play clips, and I chose little parts that I thought were kind of amusing. So let's see what you all think. Let's take a look at the clips.
Come on. Hello. Gamul? Hello, Gamul. Agent 25 here.
Gamul here. Is this really Agent 25?
The very same, sir. I escaped from the Telus jail, and now I'm expecting new orders from you. Oh, great Gamul.
Congratulations. And how did you accomplish this mistake?
It was actually more like extortion. I had to reveal to that troll the power source that our spaceships use. Much good does that information do to him.
What? What did you say to him?
Perpetua mobile, of course.
Oh, you goofus.
Eh?
Our entire plan for the destruction of the planet Tellus is based on their continuing use of oil, which will eventually cause the planet to self-destruct.
But I had no idea.
We sent Sigmund Freud to this planet to prepare people's minds. Now they feel entitled to follow every impulse.
Hey! Bear, 12 o'clock. The bear. He's got no respect for winter's gentle beauty. It's a war to him. It's like he wants to scare away the snow. You think that's okay?
Oh, yeah, better than okay.
We're living in a society here.
Good for you.
You think your hunk of metal is faster than this?
You boys want some hot tea?
You want to prove it?
To the pavement.
Straight edges?
You bet.
Booyah! Bring it on, shovel boy.
Okay, just so we're clear now, if we fake them out, we do get course credit, right?
Indeed.
Sweet.
Indeed we do.
What, do we get their jobs? Or?
We could work on that one.
Okay, all right, cool. Well, okay, here it is. Well, this little thing reminds me of days back on the farm in Georgia. Okay, that part's a lie. I'm not from Georgia, but oh well. This is a butter scraper. Not a butter scraper, rather a butter spreader. Although you could scrape it, I suppose, if you were so inclined. Pretty simple. You put a dollop of butter on there and rub it all over a big old ear of corn. And then you eat said ear of corn, and it is delicious and lovely.
And lovely. Moving on to Kim.
I'm from Georgia.
I think you're lying.
That's just stupid, I think. This is a tongue scraper because, you know, brushing your teeth and using Listerine just isn't enough, and there's a lot of bacteria and stuff, so...
Bacteria and
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, it's gross.
It is gross.
But
Smell
that's
it.
what this is.
Does it smell funny?
No, no.
Are you sure? All right, Matt, moving on to you.
Yeah, hi, excuse me. I was just, I heard that my flight was delayed to Long Beach Airport.
Your flight was delayed?
Yeah, my flight said supposedly it was 5 hours delayed. That's what the monitor says, and I was wondering if you could verify that.
Sir, this is a car rental counter you're at.
Car rental counter?
Car rental counter.
Oh, so you guys can't tell me anything about flight information?
Can't help you with the flight, sir.
No? You can't even go on your computer and maybe
Can't
help me
even go-
out a
no.
little bit?
Sorry.
So this is a car rental place. Well, this airport's so big. Where's the ticket info counter?
Sir, this is a car rental place.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And
Ticket info would be around the corner.
so I could go around the corner?
Around the corner.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Attention passengers, ticket counter B is now closed. This is the last boarding call for flight 604 to Long Beach International, departing for gate 37.
Well, I thought that if, after knowing him for 12 years, that I could trust him. So when we went on vacation, I left him the keys to the house, the car, everything.
And when you got back?
And when we got back, the police were already here, and our worst fears had come true. He had taken everything.
That's really your worst fear?
Yes, it was.
You can't think of anything worse?
Well, no.
Everything we owned was gone.
Yes, I realize that, but let's just say, for the sake of argument, not only is everything gone, but your house is on fire as well. Wouldn't that be worse?
I guess so.
Yeah. And then not only are you standing there watching it, but this swarm of killer bees comes out of nowhere and starts chasing you towards this cliff. And then you're running towards the cliff, and then landmines start exploding to the left and the right. And then bears come out of nowhere.
Okay,
and then
yes, that would be worse.
I'm not done finished talking.
All right.
Well, as you can see, well, maybe as you can't see, I mean, comedy looks easy, but I'm sure every single producer who worked on those shows can tell you that many, many, many hours went into even those little minutes of making something look funny. And the winner in the comedy variety category is Endless Winter by Brian Van Kampen. And we'd like to acknowledge also the people that worked on the show with Brian. Paul Smith, who is directing tonight, this TV show. Paul, do you think you can come out here and let somebody else take over the board for just a second so you can get your award? Aaron Weiss, Laura Bilodeau, and Carol Buckley.
Wow.
And guys, you guys were working on this all year. Would you like to say something about it?
No, go ahead, okay. It's a little bittersweet, to tell you the truth. You either know or don't know that I've the film critic for the Ithaca Times for 16 years, and after you see enough bad movies, you think, I gotta be able to do better than that. It's just, I mean, somebody actually paid someone to write, Dude, Where's My Car? And it got made, and it was in theaters. I couldn't believe it. I want to thank Aaron Weiss, who took me out to lunch last January and showed me this wacky script about a guy who's just nuts about shoveling snow. I cast it all with friends and actors that I'd worked with many times, because sometimes we were shooting 6 or 7 pages a day, and you don't have a lot of time to direct in those situations. I want to mention them by name: George Sapio, Melanie Euler, Abel McShirley Bradshaw, and that was Bob Finley as the bear. And I hope we hope to put Bob in all our films, because he's kind of a good luck charm. And Lauren is correct. We were working on this for probably a good 4 to 5 months for a 15-minute short. And I got to say, with the digital video revolution, it's a great time to be doing this. We did all the post-production, the editing, and the music in our apartment, which is amazing. And this one's for Carol Buckley. Thanks.
You did have some problems with snow, didn't you?
Yeah, we had trouble getting snow.
This show required
Yeah.
snow to make it.
Yeah.
We had a little problem having snow.
I always said, make a movie with available resources. And I said, it's January, let's do something with snow. And he really kowtowed to that and sent me the script like a week later. And then it was literally something like 5 weeks of just being on the Weather Channel all day, every day. Good weather, 50 degrees, crap. 55 degrees, no, this is terrible. And then St. Patrick's Day last year, we got 6 inches of snow. And unbelievably, on a Wednesday, all the actors were able to come out and play with us. And so I thank them. And as I said, this award is for Carol Buckley. Thank you.
I think that what Brian didn't say is that Endless Winter is part of a trilogy. Isn't that right, Brian? And
correct.
Passion of the Crust is the next.
No, it's the 60 Degrees of Separation and the F Word are the next two.
60 Degrees of Separation and the F Word are the next two parts?
Yes.
Okay.
We're shooting them right now.
So, all right, so there is a trilogy in the making, and part 2 will be coming soon. Meanwhile, let's move on to the innovative category. Innovative is sometimes what you call things when you really have no idea what to make of it. so it's a lot more elegant a title than, huh? But truly, the people that come down and play with the creative possibilities of video without necessarily feeling tied down to linear narrative and things making sense or just portraying factual information. Some of those people do really, really interesting things, and we're lucky to have a few people that try to explore all the possibilities, all the visual possibilities of the medium. And there are 2 entrants in that category tonight. One is a longtime producer, Mike Brutvan, who produces a series called No Idea, which is on live every Tuesday night at 10 o'clock and reruns a couple of times during the week. By the way, Paul, if you could put up while I'm speaking our website. For those of you that have access to a computer, you can find out when all of the PEGASYS and ICTV programs are on by going to our website. And the number should be on your screen now. There's a bunch of letters. I don't think I can say it by just by memory, but you should see it there. You'll see it there, and you can write it down. If you click on if you click on the cable casting information, you'll have an opportunity to see an entire detailed listing of Channel 13's programming. You'll also be able to see a weekly grid of when all the series are playing, so you can find out when No Idea is on, when all the reruns are on, and any other series you're interested in. If you look at Channel 16, there's a link that will take you right to ICTV's website, which will give you the times and days of the week that all of the different ICTV programs are on, and most of them are run also more than once, so you have more than one chance in the week to see them. So please, if you haven't seen any of these programs before and you're intrigued, take a look at our website and get access to a complete program listing of all the P&E access programming on 13 and 16. The 2 entrants in the innovative category are Layers by Andre Puka and No Idea by Mike Brutvan, and we've got clips of both of them to show you now, so let's take a look.
Drinking this way, drinking this way. What does it take? How long must I wait?
Well, as you can see, there's, well, what can I say? I'm a little bit speechless. I see that Ananda is here tonight, and I heard her voice on the No Idea clip a little bit. Yeah, I think I heard your voice a little bit too. Oh, that was, oh, that was her dad. Okay. Anyway, Mike Brutvan I wanted to say a couple of other things about, because Mike Brutvan is responsible for a good part of the food here tonight. He volunteered to make a Middle Eastern dinner for all of us, and he was out here cooking falafels and asking where he could deep fry things. I had to steer him away from the editing equipment so he wasn't deep frying on top of that. But he did an amazing job putting together wonderful, wonderful Middle Eastern food, and I thank you very much for that. In fact, if you could just stand up and take a bow for your food, I think that would be great. It's especially nice this year, as far as the food was concerned, that so many of you guys sort of treated it as a dish to pass and brought things. A lot of times I try and just kind of do all that myself, and I really needed help this year. And the fact that you guys all, I didn't even ask anybody. People came up to me and asked what they could bring and brought things, and Rick brought literally a mountain of sandwiches. I think that, I mean, you need climbing gear to climb the mountain of sandwiches. There's so many sandwiches, and the Middle Eastern food was wonderful, and the healthy chips were wonderful, and the chocolate chip cookies, which John Weiss made, which were the best that I ever ate in my entire life, with raspberry chocolate that I never heard of. So you guys did wonderful, and I really appreciate it, and especially Mike, who's been here for 3 hours cooking. That was truly wonderful. Okay, and the innovative category, the winner chosen by the judges, is Layers by Andre Puka. I think that Andre is not here. However, let me just tell you a couple little things about him, just because I don't think most of you guys know him, because he's one of these people that does things on his own, so he's not working with anybody, and he's kind of in and out. He did that using our digital editor. And Andre in real life is a teacher, an English teacher in the Ithaca city school system, and that's what he does. He teaches English. But in his off time, he is a musician, because he's got his own rock band, and he's made music videos of his own rock band, and I think this kind of experimental film was his first attempt to really use effects in this way. So this is Andre Puka's alter ego life from his regular job as a teacher of English in the city of Ithaca. So congratulations, Andre, if you're at home watching this. We're very happy for you, and we can't wait to see your next production. Our next category is News Magazine, which kind of means news programs. Magazine format programs are things that have edited segments and a bunch of things combined with a studio program. Oh, I skipped one. Okay, I skipped that category number 5, and we can't skip them because, you know, I've got all my clips in order on a tape, so we got to play them in order. I can't bounce around here. All right, I'm bouncing back to number 5. Thank you, Jim, for reminding me. Special interest is a category for things that don't fit in a regular category, and someone discovered that special interest was perfect for that, and we have 2 entrants in this category this year. The first is Postcards from Tompkins County, produced by Vies Van Luken and shot by Jordan Alexander, and who is also the person who does Homemade Jams, which you saw earlier. And the second is Rewarding the Pony Part 3 by Marilyn Rowland, who has already made Rewarding the Pony Part 1 and Rewarding the Pony Part 2. And we're going to take clips of both of those and let you guys take a look at them now.
On the way take shape in the pony's mind. The idea that he can trust and even rely on the trainer's judgment. Out in the sand arena, the lesson continues. A few turns on the long lines remind Thunder of what he's learned so far. He remembers that pressure against the bit is the cue to turn one way or the other. When the trainer pulls on the long lines, he knows exactly what she wants him to do. He hasn't forgotten a thing. Today, the trainer has devised a new challenge. She'll ask the pony to negotiate some obstacles lying on the ground. A couple of tires, a couple of scattered tree branches, 2 long poles lying side by side. This exercise is harder than it looks.
Well, as you can see, there's so much of interest in this county. Both of those featured Tompkins County themes, whether it be the Newfield Bridge or whether it be a horse trainer in the county. There are some wonderful programs that are produced with scenes of our local area. People do shows about the waterfalls, people do shows about different aspects of the park and all of our areas of natural beauty, and it's really wonderful to see that reflected on TV. The winner in the special interest category is Postcards from Tompkins County by Vies Van Luken, and I understand that accepting for her will be John Weiss.
Yeah, I'm not sure, do you have anything on, because I don't myself have with me the message from Weiss on who worked with her, and she tended...
Jordan Alexander
Jordan Schott, he works with her on other things, I know.
This is for him.
So
He
why
was
don't
the
we look at
videographer.
that? He was the videographer. Okay, good. Well, I've watched Weiss work here. I know she's got a devotion to everything and all kinds of work that she does. And this is also a way of seeing the sort of another aspect of Weiss's work, because as most of you know, she also does Amnesty International, you might say, shows and documentaries and so forth, and takes those pretty seriously and does wonderful work there. And she works also with Jordan on those as well. So I think this is the sort of show that Weiss also has an interest in, the sort of lyrical approach to using her camera and her visual stuff, and I'm happy to see that she got some recognition for that. So I guess, should I take, you can give this to Jordan, or should I, how should I do this?
Yeah.
Oh, you can give it to Jordan. You see him around. Okay, good.
Jordan Weiss's videographer also works at Time Warner Cable during the day, which is why I will see Jordan, and he did a bunch of prep work for us before the event tonight to make this possible, and so we appreciate that. Let's move on to our next category, which is, we all know what it is now, don't we? News magazine, that I already started explaining a second ago. Now we're actually ready for it. This is the category where you've got studio segments combined with edited segments that are pre-produced. It's a little more ambitious and complicated, and a lot more goes into it than your basic talk show. We have 2 entrants in this category, both from ICTV. We've got Newswatch by Michael Geller, who is the producer, but there's really a big group of people that work on it. And Gridiron Report by Michael Hoskins. I think the same is true. There's quite a number of people that work on these ICTV productions. And would just mention also that Newswatch 16, you can see a program that's exclusively about Tompkins County news on local television on Channel 16 that you can't get anywhere else, only on cable. And so let's take a look at the clips from both of these offerings from ICTV.
Clark, live from ICTV Ithaca. This is Newswatch 16.
Good evening and welcome to Newswatch 16. I'm Jared Halpern.
And I'm Anna Liss. Another sighting of the College Town creeper. Sunday morning, a resident of the Maplewood Apartments awoke to a man touching her. When the woman screamed, the intruder fled.
Newswatch 16's Autumn Lee reports on what the city is now doing to catch the creeper.
Maplewood Apartments are the picture of quiet graduate student housing at Cornell.
But Sunday morning, they were the scene of another bedroom intrusion by the man being called the Collegetown Creeper. One resident reported the creeper's presence in her bedroom at 6:30 Sunday morning, and another resident told police she saw a man looking in the window of another apartment. Ithaca and Cornell police departments are continuing their investigation to catch the creeper, but they are not sure if the latest incident will provide them with any new information.
Returns his second career punt for a touchdown, 78 yards. And, of course, Jose Colon, the Rocket middle linebacker, led the team with 8 tackles against Utica. There you go, 1, 2, 3 top performers against Utica. Now I'm joined by the CFCU Player of the Week, sophomore free safety, Charlie Stevens, who had himself what we call a day against Utica. 2 interceptions, including his first one being returned for a 27-yard touchdown, his first career touchdown, his 3rd and 4th interception of the year. Charlie, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks a lot.
All right, you're part of a young secondary, guys that work in and out. How hard is it to gel with guys when not everyone's on the field all the time?
Well, you know, we really practice together really well. We know each other really well. We practice really hard, and I mean, when someone new comes in, it's not really a big deal. I'm fully confident in them. They fill the spot nicely.
All right. A lot of injuries. Matt Tosh was out with an injury. Ryan Terlecki out with an injury. Now he's back. Jim Chapman went out with an injury. When do you feel most comfortable on the field? Does it matter who else is on the field when you're out there?
No.
I think you can see when you look at those clips or if you watch those programs that Ithaca College can be proud of the newscasters in training that they're producing at IC, at Park School of Communications. I've seen just over the past few years a real improvement in the level of news and magazine format programming that Ithaca College TV is producing. It used to be kind of funny to watch Newswatch because when you got to the weather section, you were guaranteed to have parts of the weatherman disappear because he'd move out of the space that he was supposed to be in. He'd lose an arm or he'd lose a leg or his head would disappear for a second, and it used to be kind of fun. I'd look forward to watching that. That never happens anymore. These guys are way too pro. If you watch some of the segments on any of these shows, you also see that they've got this slick new look in between programs. They've got very, very fancy computer graphic segments, and they've sort of got video DJ promos on animated artificial backgrounds that are going on between things. The opening for Newswatch is spectacular. They've got a great set. All in all, they do a terrific job and produce very, very professional programs for the channel. So if you haven't been watching it, you're really missing something. And the winner for the news magazine format category is Newswatch 16. And can you tell everybody your name?
Yeah, my name is Anna Liss. I was the anchor on the episode that we just saw the clip of. This semester, I'm actually the news director. Last semester, the news director was Jared Halpern. He is in London this semester, studying abroad. And Michael
You could
Geller.
read up the people that kind of worked on the show with you?
Yeah, no problem. Here, let me just set this down right here. We've got Michael Geller, who is in LA this semester, interning with a news station out there. Then there's me, the anchor. Jared Halpern, as I said, he's in London. I think he's interning with NBC. Brendan Burke was on sports. You saw him on the Gridiron Report. He was the anchor on the other show. Then we've got Colin Bonzi, who is a sports producer. Kristen Petrikowski, who was our technical director. Tony Sabato, which I think he was directing that night. And Justin Moss, who is assignment editor. He was in charge of all the journalistic aspects of the show. Peter Busa, who was, I believe, the chief photog that night. So he was in charge of all of the videography that went on. And so a lot of work goes on putting together Newswatch 16. It's about 12 hours a day, and it's a lot of work.
And how do you still do schoolwork? This isn't a course for you, right?
No, it's not. We don't get school credit, and we don't get paid. It's just basically we're doing it to get the real life experience so that when we graduate, we can get out there and get a real job and have, you know, good audition tape under our belts and, you know, ready to get out there and compete with the pros. So
you do this for 12 hours a day and then do your homework?
Yeah, it's a late night. We go live from Ithaca College Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays at 8 p.m. So basically Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays, the entire day eaten up by Newswatch. You have to be there to write your stories, to pitch your story ideas, to the reporters have to go out and schedule their interviews and go interview people all day, and then they have to edit, they have to put everything together, and it's just a huge amount of work. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, we stay up late doing homework that night because we know that our entire day is going to be dedicated to Newswatch.
And the best story of 2004 was?
Oh, gosh.
Pop quiz.
I would have to say the Creeper story was pretty good. We did a few stories on the College Town Creeper, but we definitely got some really hard-hitting news packages out of that obviously gave us a great newscast that we could win an award for. So,
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, now we're on to category number 7. I think I'm actually on the right one. This is my favorite category called Public Affairs. The reason why it's my favorite category is because public access was created with an idea that people didn't have enough political free expression. So it was created for people to say what they thought about political issues in their own town, about things that they cared about people chewing up Route 13, about the Creeper, about any kind of development that they cared about, or their schools, or anything that was local and important to them that they didn't need to have told to them by someone, but that they wanted to say something about. And what I really am happy about in Ithaca is that compared to many other access stations around the country, and there are over 2,000 of them, by the way, there are quite a few access centers that have very little public affairs programming, that a lot of people don't choose to use that form of expression. But I think that probably most of you know that Ithacans are not very shy about giving you their opinion about things, especially local things. And there are people that are ready, willing, and able to come down here to make sure that everybody knows what they think. We've got from Robin Palmer, who many years ago started coming down here to make For the Duration, and he was so happy that he found this place because he was tired of writing obnoxious letters to the editor and having the editor either not print them or just print them in severely truncated form. Here you can just go on TV and he can talk for a whole hour and give you all of his entire mind, just not just a little piece of his mind, but the whole thing, or what's left of it. And everybody else that you're going to see on these clips, I think that every one of them, not everyone. There are 6 entries, and 4 out of the 6 are series, weekly series. Literally, somebody has enough energy and group coordination and can think up enough ideas to get on every week and have a topic and have a show. We have, in fact, about 9 or 10 different public affairs shows just on Channel 13 alone of people that are doing public interest programming. And we also have a stable of producers. I don't really want to say it like that because they're not coordinated with each other, but people that when there's an event, when Maurice Hinchy comes to town and he gives a town meeting at the State Theater, or some other person of note will grab a camera, run down there, videotape it, and not only will you won't just get to see a little soundbite of 30 seconds or 10 seconds on the local news that night, you will get to see the 45 minutes or an hour and 45 minutes lecture that the person gave, because on public access we can run the whole thing uncut and in its entirety. So that makes up an opportunity on Channel 13 that just isn't there anywhere else. Anyway, we have 6 wonderful entries, and I'll read them off to you. Over the Shoulder by Jordan Alexander, and that's an example of going to an event and shooting it. Amnesty International by Wies van Luken. Wies, as John Weiss pointed out, has been doing Amnesty International. She belongs to Amnesty International, the Ithaca chapter, and making her program is one of her ways to contribute to the amnesty movement. Over the Rainbow by Rick Livingston Lochner, and he's been doing this program for, 3 years now, Rick, do you think? Could that be right? 2 years now. And now he's gotten the courage in his 2nd year to do live shows sometimes, only every other week. When he gets really courageous, maybe it'll be every week, but that is a big step. So you'll see a clip of that. For the Duration, I just mentioned, Robin Palmer is basically whatever he's hot under the collar about in the given week. Ithaca DSA Presents is a bunch of different issues that have to do with progressive politics or national politics, local politics, a whole range. The shows I've seen recently have to do with Social Security, with healthcare, with the war in Iraq, a wide range of topics. And Are We a Theocracy is a presentation by Joan Beaucaire about her concern with the religion creeping into politics. And she's a local resident who lives up at Eco Village. So we've got clips of each of these 6 entrants, so let's take a look.
Just sitting hour after hour watching screens. Watching television screens, computer screens, internet screens, little handheld screens. There are companies now in the Washington suburbs that they've got the computer, you can hook it right into the ear. Just walk around with it. Next thing you know, nanotechnology will implant it into the brain. Next thing you know, corporations, because they have been given the right to patent life forms, will create humanoids, just short of being accused of slavery. There'll be humanoids. 50 years, greatest changes in the history of the world. You ready for it? Do you have civic skill courses in your university? You've got marketing, advertising, you've got those courses. You have civic skill courses where you can connect with the world around you and synthesize different disciplines in terms of the search for justice. Isn't that a worthy academic quest?
Welcome to the show, Maura. Glad to have you with us once again. You visited Iraq the first time about 5 weeks before the invasion, and then about 6 weeks after the invasion was declared officially over. Tell us what it was like getting into the country the second time.
We traveled the same route, and we went in through Amman, Jordan, and then it's about a 15-hour drive through the desert, including the time it takes to get through customs. We were fortunate this time that we got through fairly quickly. We had somebody facilitate our time at the border, and we had press passes. The people at the border now are U.S. military, so it wasn't quite as bad. But we were told that the stretch of road between Fallujah and Ramadi, it's about a 60-mile stretch of road that's very dangerous. There's supposed to be a lot of bandits out, and people, especially Westerners coming into the country, have been waylaid and their money taken and all their goods taken. Some people have been abandoned out in the middle of the desert. So we were fairly scared of that. I was careful to have Muslim clothing with me, and George had a shma, which is the headdress that men wear there. And during that whole stretch, we were...
All right, think about this. Think about this. Did black slaves have the right to marry? You had dozens of situations where slaves as slaves were married. Right, usually with the permission of their masters, but everything was done with the permission of the masters. So you had, at that point in time, someone who was considered subhuman who had the right to marry. But gays do not. What is that?
Well, I think there are two differences. One, I think that they not only were not subhuman, but they should have had the right to marry. And what I'm saying is I think it would be, outrageously wrong to say that gay people are in any sense subhuman.
Then why can't they marry?
Well, why? Let me ask the question this way. Should we extend the idea of marriage indefinitely? Should two stamp collectors or a brother and a sister or an older two friends who want the financial benefits of marriage, should they be able to marry? Why discriminate against people who are not involved in a sexual relationship? Why should we say that sex?
That's almost all you read about. Times yesterday, the whole section of the Week in Review, gay marriage, editorial, gay marriage.
More interesting
this guy,
than others.
Great Rich, gay marriage.
Let me suggest how...
And I think it's very important.
Okay, hold on. Robin, let me suggest how I see it working into the campaign. I see it not being that huge of an issue as you might think per se, in the issue of are you for or against gay marriage. I see it more in terms of a pattern of John Kerry's unprincipled flip-flopping. his attempt to straddle every issue. So that, for example, he's going around saying, I oppose gay marriage. I'm for civil unions, but I oppose gay marriage. But he voted against the Defense of Marriage Act in the Senate a couple of years ago that President Bill Clinton signed.
Yes.
And so he's really trying to have it both ways. He's a straddler, you know, he's squishy, and that same squishiness and lack of moral consistency manifests itself on a range of issues, such as the war in Iraq. You know, there was the famous speech.
DSA rejects the administration's arrogance. We further demand that the U.S. and British meet their moral and legal responsibilities under international law by providing for the humanitarian costs of their unilateral intervention. Washington and London must pay the continuing costs of Iraq's reconstruction, including much of the cost of UN humanitarian and peacekeeping deployments. The Bush administration must immediately make public a realistic estimate for the cost of reconstruction in Iraq and turn over funds to UN authority, beginning with the $87 billion allegedly appropriated for reconstruction, but the majority of which is aimed at supporting the military costs of the U.S. occupation. Reconstruction funds.
There's been a really interesting series in the Washington Post, August 16th, 17th, 18th, that goes into great detail about how our government is becoming deregulated and how it's devastating public health and the environment. Okay, 2 departments due for the chopping block are Housing and Urban Development and Health and Human Services. These 2 agencies provide critical services for the poor. If these 2 departments are abolished, who will help those least able to help themselves? In Dominion theology, churches assume responsibility for welfare and education. So the federal government recedes into the background, and then the churches take over welfare and education. According to America's providential history, Scripture makes it clear that God is the provider, not the state. Is President Bush's faith-based initiative based on a belief that God is the provider, not the state?
I think you can see that people in Ithaca have a lot of opinions, care about world events, not just local events, care about regional events, national events, international events. We have people on Channel 13 that are coming back from Iraq and Palestine where they've served as observers, peace observers, or election observers in Yugoslavia. People in Ithaca through Cornell sometimes, through Ithaca Catholic Worker, through a number of different churches and secular organizations that have involved themselves in all kinds of different issues where they're trying to make the planet better. People that are concentrating on local issues, campaigns about improving problems with toxic waste or cleaning up the Ithaca Falls or the other kind of chemical spills that we're having now in South Hill, or anything that strikes a local resident as important. You probably have seen some kind of discussion about it in local TV shows. Everybody that appears on an Access TV show usually has the experience as they're walking around town, down in the Commons, anywhere where somebody comes up to them sometime and says, in a supermarket on the street, I saw you on TV last night. I saw you. So we don't have the Nielsen's, but we have sort of the supermarket rating where anybody who's a show host or a show guest usually finds some kind of recognition in the eyes of the clerk giving them change, or the person pumping their gas, or just some stranger walking down the street who now feels close to them and knows a lot about them by seeing them on television. And if you are at home and you're one of those people that would really like to get your views across, we'd love to have you. We really can't have enough of this kind of programming. This is the lifeblood of Access. It's what public access is for, is to give people a voice on issues that matter to them. But we have to have a winner in this category. And the winner is Are We Becoming a Theocracy?, produced by Jim Blizzard. Jim is very shy. I practically had to get a crowbar to get him out of his house to come down here tonight. And now I similarly had to coax him to come up here. But Jim Blizzard, you may also not know about him because he's very shy. He's the person behind the scenes of the Tompkins County government programming. He's the man behind the curtain who makes sure that Tompkins County legislator meetings go on Government Access Channel 15. Could you tell us a little bit about why you did this program, Jim? Oh, and now I'm making him talk.
Yeah, making me talk. I think the work that Joan Beaucaire is doing on this Theocracy Watch project is basically overwhelming and really, really powerful content, very relevant to people in the world today. And I can do television work, and I offered to help in any way I could, and that turned out to be television work. And I also help with the website, www.theocracywatch.org. I'd suggest everyone take a look. So.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I'd also like to thank basically the Time Warner staff who've been so helpful in the past and are so willing to help in the future too. Paul Cullings, an engineer who helps a lot with what I do at work, and Lauren is priceless. So thank you.
Okay, we've got 2 more categories left, and the next one is, see, I'm reading it off here just so I don't make another mistake, nonprofit organizations, and we've got 2 entrants in this category, but this is another really, really important aspect of what PEGASYS does, is not just gives individuals a voice, but it gives organizations a voice. And we've got 2 entrants in this category, but we have many, many more not-for-profit organizations that have used PEGASYS and taken advantage of it, from local churches to the Red Cross to the Alcoholism Council to the Daycare Council to on and on and on, all the local museums and local entertainment venues and theaters and on and on and on. Really, probably the majority of the not-for-profit organizations in town that have used PEGASYS in one way or another to get their message across, sometimes just by appearing as a guest on someone's weekly series, weekly talk show to talk about something, and sometimes by making their own show. But the 2 organizations that are represented in the shows that we're going to view took a step well beyond being a one-time guest on a talk show. They actually put in the effort to make their own show and make a weekly series to boot. Both of these are weekly series. Starlight Presents, produced by Gary Tracy, represents, is it called the Starlight Club now? Is that right?
Still Starlight Peer Advocacy Drop-in Center for Empowerment, or SPACE.
I would have never guessed that, okay.
Space is easier.
Space, okay. The Starlight Peer Empowerment Peer Advocacy Center for Empowerment. Space, okay. These guys trained together as a group with the idea of making this program, and they've been producing it for, it's over 2 years now. Is it 3? Is that right? 111 episodes. Think about what that means. 111 30-minute shows, all on different topics. Yes, I think that deserves a round of applause. It's a tremendous amount of dedication. The other entrant in this category, Good News, produced by Nancy Raza. And Nancy Raza has been working at producing Good News for maybe 10 years. Could that be true? You think, Nancy? She doesn't even know. She was asking me, I don't even know how old this show is. I don't know how long I've been doing it. Nancy works so hard, raising 4 kids, working full-time, and producing a 30-minute show every single week that usually when I see her, she's that close from not doing it, but she's an example of the superwoman that somehow, even though she's on the edge, she never falls off the other side. So now we're going to get a chance to see an example of both of these shows, Starlight Presents and Good News. If you take a look at your monitors, let's take a look.
What is the Golden Retriever Rescue of Central New York?
when you do that. We were formed in 1995 as a committee of the Golden Retriever Club of Central New York. There were 5 of us who formed it, and I was the president for the first 9 years and then happily turned that role over to Janet. We've existed mainly in the Syracuse and Ithaca areas, although we place dogs, Utica, Watertown, and increasingly in Rochester, which is a large area, of course, and is getting a lot of our attention right now. We accept Goldens, like 105 other rescue programs, Golden Retriever rescue programs around the country do, from where they can't be cared for or are not wanted for any number of possible reasons. Some of ours also come from shelters, but that's not in great numbers. And then after a period of evaluation in a foster home and some veterinary care, we make them available, introduce them to people who have applied and been approved. They go through an application process. And
Well, I'd like to thank those 2 producers and all the other not-for-profit organizations that have chosen Pegasus as a way to get their message out to the community and share their services and help people get help and live better lives. And that we can help be a part of that, I think is terrific. And the winner in the not-for-profit organization category is Good News, produced by Nancy Raza. Congratulations, Nancy. Tell us what it takes to make this show. How do you pull this off?
I don't know.
And how many shows have you made?
Well, the last count was 552, but it wasn't all me. There was actually someone before me that started, but they moved away, and I took it.
But you've made at least
over.
like 300 or 400, right?
It's got to be, yes. But I appreciate Pegasus for actually allowing something like this to happen. I know everybody, I think I could have been probably in every category here, young people, like a lot of different things, performing arts, but the reason why I do it is because I take a real big position on Jesus. You know, in the 60s, I was one of those Jesus freaks, and then and I lived at the top of this lake, and I found this little church here in Ithaca, and our former pastor, Bishop Cecil A. Malone, which is named, they named the street after him, and we don't really do religion, we do salvation, and we believe that Jesus was a man, and you can trace his heritage back to Adam, and that God never became a man, so you won't find another church like that in Ithaca. For us to be able to have a program to tell people that we believe what the Bible says, just that it's just a blessing to be able to do this. The network shows we used to have cut us off, you know, and if we were back in the days of old, we probably would be in the arena having made targets, you know, or put in the lion's den for this, what we believe. So I really appreciate Lauren and all the former people that I've worked through all these years for helping me, because most of it you see is just me behind the camera, but it's the young people that sing. It's our pastor, Bishop Barrett, the message that he puts out every week. So, but I enjoy it. I really do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And again, if you want to know when this show, Good News, or Starlight, or any of the other shows that you've seen will be on, you can look at our website, which I'm prepared now, I have it written down, is www.twcny.com/PEG, and look at what's on Channel 13 or Channel 16, and you can get links right to the programming. We're going to have to move along because we're almost out of time. We've got our last category, documentary. We've got 2 entrants, How Do You Spell Presbyterian by John and Elaine Weiss, and Man Library, A Life History by Ward and Basima Krakoska, both of whom brought food tonight, so there's competing food and competing programs. Let's take a look at the clips.
In any case, whatever discomfort it may cause for officials, Darfur's crisis is no longer invisible. Gestures of concern and expressions of disapproval have appeared. In April 2004, on the 10th anniversary of the Rwandan genocide, UN Secretary General Kofi Annan called upon the Sudanese government to end the raids in the villages and to allow observers and relief workers into the area. On June 30th, Secretary of State Colin Powell visited Nyala, the principal town of the region. He also promised relief and warned of a world of pain for the Sudanese government if it did not act to alleviate what has been called, in a phrase that neatly elides the question of cause and perpetrators, the world's #1 humanitarian crisis.
Cornell University is an international focal point of research in the life sciences. Cornell's College of Agriculture and the Life Sciences, CALS, is the core of New York State's land-grant university system. At the head of the Ag Quad is Man Library, arguably the finest attempt at gathering in one place all existing knowledge of agriculture, human ecology, and the life sciences. This is the story of the making of Man Library, and especially about the people who made it possible.
And as we're closing out of time, I'm going to go right to the winner, which is Ward and Basima Krakoska for Man Library, A Life History.
Thanks very much, Lauren. Hey, and I got her up here this time this year. What a struggle.
Thank you. Would you like to say anything? Real brief, because we're almost out of time.
Yes.
I have to thank the director of Albert R. Mann Library, Janet McHugh. I don't know whether she's watching right now, but thank you for your inspiration and encouragement. We are going to hometown this year, definitely, and we hope to do well. And thanks to one special person, I have not been able to say thanks. The last year when we won was Paul Smith. We love you. Really do.
Welcome. Congratulations.
Thanks, Lauren.
And now, as we're at the end of our program, we're in the last minute or two, we've got our Best Public Access and Best Educational Access, the 2 highest scoring public access programs and educational access programs. By the way, for those of you who are here, if you're interested in looking at the score sheet, I'm going to post that on the bulletin board after the program. But we're out of time, so I'm just going to call them all 4 out at once. And if, when you hear your name, you could just come up here and line up behind me, and I'll do your awards all at once. The 2 highest scoring public access programs, only one program in this competition got a 5, which is the highest score out of 1 to 5 from all 3 judges, a perfect score. And that one show is Endless Winter by Brian Van Kampen. Come on up. The second highest scoring public access show was Postcards from Tompkins County by Vies Van Luken. And come on up, except for that. The highest scoring educational access show was, wait, Newswatch 16. Yeah, you guys still here? And the second highest scoring educational access show was not a winner in its category, but it was the second highest educational access program, Solarium with Professor Smedley Drake.
Marie's up there for both.
Oh, okay. And this is for Postcards to Conference County. This is for Endless Winter.
I should have a sign on these ones.
And this is for Solarium with Professor Smedley Drake, and for Newswatch. And for all of you who are out there watching, we're at the end of our time. Thank you so much for joining me. Take another look at public access television and educational access television, and have a very, very good night from Pegasus.